In this video, we're going to work on some word problems that involve coins. We're asked to find how many coins of a couple of types of coins do we have, given that we know some information about the value of the coins and the number of the coins, right? And so you may find a table helpful. So here's how we're going to do it. For the same type of coin, the total value of a number of coins is found by multiplying the number of coins that you have times the single value of one coin. That will give you the total value of the coins you have. So for example, if you know that you're talking about nickels, for example, you know you have 2 nickels, so the number is 2, the value of the nickel would be 5 cents, right? 0.05. So then the total value of your 2 nickels is 2 times 0.05, or so 10 cents, or 1/10 of a dollar, right? So multiplying the number of coins that you have times the value of a single coin gives you the total money that you have. So let's use that in our first example. Lily has $2.10 in nickels and quarters in her backpack. She has 12 more nickels than quarters. How many coins of each type does she have? This is a pretty standard problem. And again, what are we asked to find? Well, we're asked to find how many nickels she has and how many quarters she has, right? So we're trying to find the number of coins that she has of each type. We've talked before about the fact that we're going to use one variable, so we can only let that one variable represent one of those 2 unknown quantities. So we get to choose. And a good strategy is let your variable represent the quantity you know nothing about. So for example, we know that she has 12 more nickels than quarters, but we don't know anything about the quarters, right? So let's let X represent the number of quarters Lily has. Now notice what I did not write. I did not write X is a quarter. Remember, that doesn't give us enough detail. So in this particular problem, we're finding how many quarters does she have. So you're going to write X is the number of quarters that Lily has. Then we know that the nickels, there's 12 more than that. 12 more than X. So X plus 12 is the number of nickels that Lily has in her backpack. Okay, so remember, we got those 2 definitions right here from that second sentence, and also from knowing that we were looking for how many quarters and how many nickels she has. So now for our equation, though, we are going to talk about the amount of money. She's got $2.10. And so remember our table from before? The table had type of coin, and then it had number, value, number times value equals total value. So I'll remind you because I'm going to scroll. See it right here? So type, number times value equals total value. So that's what we're recreating here. So the type of coins we have are quarters and we have nickels. The number of quarters is our X. That's how we defined it, right? The number of quarters. The number of nickels is our X plus 12. That's how we defined it in our declaration statement. Okay. The value of a quarter is 0.25, right? In a decimal form, 0.25 of a dollar. And the value of the nickel is 0.05. And then you know this for zero is important, because if you don't have this 0 right here, then you'll be talking about 50 cents. Okay, so 0.05, and then to get the total value we multiply these two, and so here we get 0.25x, and then here we get 0.05, and because our number is an expression, right, then we need to put it in a parentheses, just like that. And so when we add these 2 together, that's going to give us our $2.10. So that's our equation. It's kind of here, it's vertical here, but let's write it horizontally. So we have 0.25x plus 0.05 times x plus 12 equals 2.10. Now I'll tell you, as you look at that equation, we're working in dollars, aren't we? But that's why we have the decimals. But what would happen if we worked in cents instead? then we would not have any of these decimals, right? That would be the equivalent of our multiplying everything by 100 to clear those decimals. So instead of 0.25 here, I'm going to put 25 because it's 25 cents times x. And instead of 0.05 here, I'm going to put 5 because it's 5 cents times my x plus 12. And then here, $2.10 is 210 cents, right? Okay, beautiful. So that we got rid of those decimals, makes it easier. Now, because a lot of you have calculators, you don't necessarily have to clear those fractions. You could have just used the calculator with your decimals, right? Just be careful. And so we're going to distribute here. So 25x plus 5x plus 60 equals 210. Adding the 30x on the left plus 60 equals 210. I'm running out of room. Then I'm going to subtract 60 here. Let's come over here. 30x equals 150 when we subtract, and then divide by 30. X equals 5. What did we just find? Class, what did we just find? Do you remember? Well, that's why we can come back up here and read. X is the number of quarters, so Lily has 5 quarters. 5 quarters. And then how many nickels does she have? Well, she has 5 plus 12, or 17 nickels. Now, how do we check that? Well, 5 quarters, that gives you $1.25, doesn't it? And then 17 nickels, that's 85 cents. And that's $2.10, so that works. So our conclusion statement is that Lily has 5 quarters and 17 nickels in her backpack. Okay, in this problem, Allison has $9.70 in dimes and quarters. The number of quarters is 8 more than 4 times the number of dimes. How many of each coin does she have? So we're once again looking for the number of dimes and the number of quarters, right? The number of coins. And we can only use one variable, and we know nothing about which of the coins. The dimes. We know nothing about the dimes. We know something about the quarters. The number of quarters are 8 more than 4 times the number of dimes. So, let's let D, I'm going to get fancy. We're going to use D for the variable, equal the number of dimes. Number of Allison's dimes. And so then for the quarters, we have 8 more than 4 times the number of dimes. 4D, right? 4 times the number of dimes, but we have 8 more than that, so plus 8. This is the number of Allison's quarters. Okay, so these are the numbers, right? Again, let's remind ourselves, number D for the dimes and 4D plus 8 for the quarters. And then to find the total value she has in each coin, we multiply. So we have 10D. Did you notice I put here my value in cents? I went ahead and just started and used cents, so I wouldn't have to deal with decimals. So 10D, and then here I get 25, and I've got to put this guy in the parentheses, 4D plus 8 in the parentheses like that. And then we're going to add these two to get the total, which was 970 cents. Because remember, I'm dealing in cents so that I can get rid of those decimals, so I don't have to worry with the decimals. So what's the equation? Well, the equation again is 10D. This is your value of the dimes. That's how much money she has in dimes, plus 25, but this is in a parentheses, 4D plus 8, and that's going to equal 970. And so our first step will be, of course, this distribution, right? I know you know that. And so we get 10D plus, here we get 100D, right? 4 quarters, 4 times 25, 100, plus 200, 8 25s, right? And now on the left we have like terms, 110D, and then we're going to subtract our 200 so that we can isolate this D here, right? So we have 110D, which equals 770, and then we're going to divide by 110, and D is 7. So what do we just find? She's got 7 dimes. How many quarters does she have? Well, she has 4 times 7, 4 times D plus 8. So that's 28 plus 8, or 36 quarters. Now, does that add up to $9.70? So 36.25, that's our quarters, plus 7 times 0.10, the dimes. Here we have $9. Here we have 70 cents, and that gives us 9.70. Right, that's our check. So conclusion, Allison has 7 dimes and 36 quarters.